You live walking distance to 3 beaches. You've got a football bar next to you, if you want. That's what you want on the football games. You've got numerous Turkish little locantas and you can go to. You can jump on a bus which runs every 5 minutes.
John and Ellen, welcome. Thank you for being on the podcast. You guys have the most recognisable accent in the whole of the UK, so I think it'll be very clear for people to know where you're from. Tell us a little bit about yourselves and how you found yourselves here living in Turkey.
Okay, we've been living here not far off 4 years now, over October, but we've had an apartment since 2005.
Right.
We bought here by accident, in a way. A mate of mine's got a villa in Ishmael. We went on a holiday with Ishmael in 2003. We thought, wow, could we do something like this? Met up with his estate agents, went for a tour of Ishmael and Marmaris, and quite quickly realised we couldn't afford it.
Right.
At the time, other friends of ours said their mates had just bought a place in Altinkum for £15,000. Our first thought was, being honest, well, if properties are going for 60,000 in Marmaris, I think it must be a bit of a dive, put it that way. But we said, you know what, if my mum will have the kids, we've got 3 kids, if my mum will have the kids, we'll go for a week, and can't be much, can it, if you can buy property for £15,000?
What is there to lose? Yeah, if we have a look.
Yeah. A holiday.
So that's what we thought. Before we came out, we went to the bank and see what we could raise financially against our house. So we knew what we had a budget. We came here, absolutely loved the place, even though it was still developing then, so it was a bit rough around the edges. Loved it, and we went home with a 2-bedroom apartment.
Really?
Which we live in now.
So awesome. And was it so that was a friend responsible for essentially putting Turkey on your map, putting it on your radar?
Yeah.
Right. Have you thought you've not been before? You thought about?
Never been.
Interesting.
Just a mate of ours bought, and we thought, you know what, we've never been to Turkey, Spain, all the other stuff. We'll go and give it a try. 2003.
Right. Okay. And you said was it 2005 you bought?
bought,
Okay.
yeah.
So to modern day 2021. How many years then since 2005 have you been like, we just want to move out here, we want to retire? And was that ever a thing until recently?
As soon as we moved, as soon as we went there on holiday, I said, I want to live here now. I want to go home. But obviously we had to because we were both working.
Circumstantial.
And the kids were small as well. So, but we said one day we will do it.
Right.
And we were lucky enough it happened. Because we were lucky enough to take early retirement. You got a good package from work and I did, so we done the 2 mortgages, went, and we said to the kids, and they said, right, just go for it. So
the kids were in full support as well.
100%.
Ah,
They love
that's
it, they love it,
wonderful,
yeah.
because that can often be an anchor, can't it?
Yeah.
Positive or negative,
Yeah.
however you look at that, but that can be certainly an anchor. Or I see people using that as a reason not to do things, whether that's move abroad or buy a certain thing or experience something in life. So good on you that you had the support of your family. And I guess they've been out here. The kids have.
They come all the time. They absolutely love it. Our youngest comes for a couple of weeks, ends up staying for the 3 months. So we can never get rid of him. Which
Lovely.
he's probably coming, isn't he? A couple of weeks.
Probably due in a few weeks'
yeah.
time. It depends on he does a bit of work in Ibiza. He's currently in Dubai. Obviously with COVID, it hasn't been great for the industry. But we're expecting to see him sometime, maybe in the next month or so, or he may go straight to Ibiza. We don't know. It's obviously.
Yeah, so there's an interesting couple of places there because Ibiza and Dubai are seen as these very kind of glamorous party places, and can be very different than what people's perceptions, whether they've been here or not, of Didim and Altinkum. So what does he enjoy about coming here and the area, which maybe people would go to areas like that glitz and glam? What is it that he enjoys
Just
about
loves the whole place.
Right.
Loves the people.
Loves the Turkish
He
people.
loves Turkish people, yeah.
The beaches, just generally chilling. probably because he's worked in Ibiza for 6 months, he needs to chill.
Yes.
So it's the downtime, so he loves coming up the
He
Temple
loves
area.
visiting, doesn't he, all the other
Navisha,
towns, doesn't he? He won't just come and chill. He'll just go and visit all the other towns, you know, with us. He just loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah, loves Istanbul, same as us. We absolutely love, probably our favourite city. Well, it is the favourite city we've ever been to. So we'll go to Istanbul, watch the football. He's a Galatasaray fan. I'm more into Beşiktaş, so nice little bit of
So you've got a nice rivalry there.
So we've been a few times to watch Galatasaray and Beşiktaş.
Yeah.
And spend 4 or 5 days in Istanbul, which we'll hopefully do again at some point this year.
Yes.
So,
fingers crossed.
yeah,
Well, because people, certainly people like the kind of chill lifestyle here. It does ramp up in the season, of course. I think statistically we're at 88,000 normally in the area, and that ramps up to 800,000 to 1 million, which is a big influx, of course. And what does that feel like to you guys? Going through the seasons and the change of numbers here, and the vibrancy that happens in season, and also the quiet lifestyle outside of it. How do you enjoy? Because some people don't enjoy the business in season. Some appreciate all of them and take them for what they are.
Yeah.
How does that sit with you guys?
We probably alter what we do according to the time of year, and that's down to the heat as well. I think, say July, August, we tend not to go down to the front as much, and we'll maybe go to Mavishire, go to Yashel Kent, go out and about during those months, jumping on. We just jumped the Dolmush. We chose not to buy a car or even rent a car. We're happy jumping on the Dolmushes. So we'll probably do more of that, and then as the season finishes, we're coming to September, October, November, etc. We'll gravitate down to maybe the bars on the front a bit more when it's starting to get a bit quiet. But generally, I just think we just get on with life. Yeah. We always try. We just mix everything up. We don't go the same bars all the time. We have our favourites, of course, where we met you.
Yeah.
Give a little shout out for the day bar. But we have our favourite bars, of course. But we try to do something different.
Yeah, mix it up. And you see it with people, don't you? Kind of habits of, and I think there's a real risk out here of every day being a holiday. Especially when it is a holiday resort. Certainly in summer, it feels more like a holiday resort in Altinkum, and moving out here, you do see people getting in a habit of it being a daily holiday, and that's quite difficult to sustain.
And I think we did that.
Right.
To be fair, for about 3 months or so.
Was that when you fully moved?
Yeah,
right.
I'd say we treated it like that a bit. Whereas now, we're still going out 5 days a week, so it's great, but not to the excess maybe that we
don't drink as much.
Yeah, we certainly cut down, but we go out often, but drink not a lot.
A bit more sensibly,
sensibly, rather than going out often and drinking too much.
We go to the gym.
We go, that's important.
We go to the gym.
I think that's a big thing.
Probably 5 days.
Yeah, we're at the moment we're in the yacht club.
Yeah, we spoke to Peter, and she's a member, as am I.
Right.
I just love it out there.
Yeah. So that gives you a focus.
A purpose,
a
reason to get... I think it's so important to have a reason to go to bed on a night, a reason to get up, and a purpose during the day and some structure. The amount of people that don't know what day it is, and I think if you've got to... I've experienced that in my life where you don't know what day it is because I've been travelling around and had excessive amount of time and whatnot. But I think for a long period of time, I think it's important to have that bit of structure and accountability. And I know yourself, I would love to take it back a little bit on what life was like before moving full time to Turkey and your jobs, because very different kind of jobs. And do you want to give us a little bit of insight in that? Because I know you're still keeping like some volunteer work to keep active and the cogs turning. Whereas you, Ellen, are just like, I've done my bit now. I'm
so definitely had me P45.
Do you want to tell us what life was like before moving out to Turkey?
I mean, I've done that many jobs over the course of my, from having a monkey on Bournemouth Beach to being a deck chair attendant to being a labourer on a building site, eventually going into local government, and my background, social work, education, youth work. That's my type of background. Before we came out, we both worked for local government, which is how we've been able to retire, because we've accessed our pensions at 55.
Right.
So that's how we're able to do it. But also, what I did, we set up a community interest company, support and trying to get kids off the streets. Without going into too much detail, I've always ran kids football teams. like my own 3 kids playing through the teams right the way through. When they finish, I thought I want to carry on still doing something, but maybe not football. So we owned the youth club, and we've gradually progressed that. I'm still a director. I still support what's happening. Basically, we run a youth club. Got about 6 sessions a week doing after-school clubs.
We're going to drop the name in there.
Oh, the Inclusion Network.
The Inclusion Network.
Yeah, we're based in Bootle. Bootle on the border between Bootle and Walton. As I say, we run youth work sessions. We run school holiday clubs. So like this week, half term in England. So many young people a day, all the time. It's all free as well because we access funding. In fact, that's my main job now.
Yeah.
I write the majority of our funding bids, so we only need the internet. So that's my purpose in life.
Brilliant. So that's
your
your voluntarily structure of living here, and the cogs turning, and
yeah.
awesome.
So I try and attract the money in for the people on the ground to do the proper work. We've just had an extension built because we operated from a old football changing room, which was not fit for purpose, but we achieved so much from that. But thanks to funding from Sport England, Steve Morgan Foundation, Sefton Council, the extension's probably a few weeks away from being fully completed. So we're looking to progress into supporting more adults in the community, which we started to do anyway. We run a food bank on the site. We've got an allotment, which we've now got a polytunnel on, so we get people volunteering and growing their own produce. So it's great, it's really expanded. So that gives me a purpose here. Because even before I left the UK, that was my role anyway. So I had a little office in Kirkdale where I sat on the internet.
Brilliant.
So part of the thinking process, we thought, actually, I could do this from our apartment in Turkey. I'm not working hands-on as now.
Yeah.
I only need the internet. So that's my focus while I'm here. I'm still supporting what's happening.
Fantastic. And it's funny is we get chatting, and then and I've connected some of my network up to have meetings with you guys, and it's funny what can be achieved, and we're thousands of miles away from the UK, and we're bringing people together on something so positive.
People got different roles within organisations, and I think the COVID pandemic is going to show that in so many sort of fields of work, that people are going to work differently now, and you can work remotely.
That's fantastic. Ellen, so...
Wow. When I left school, went straight into working for the education department. It was only a 6-month contract. And then 38 years later, I'm still there. But it was okay when you first started. They were all old people that I worked with. They were about 30 when I was 16. But they were really nice people. But anyway, I got a contract extended. I had no intentions of staying there because I've always wanted to travel. So, but things happen, and the job situation was really poor. So, my mum and dad wouldn't let me leave there anyway, because it was quite a good job.
Yeah.
And then I just worked my way up. Got a group of schools, and I do all the HR for them. And then eventually, after about say about 10 years, you get that rut where you think, right, I'll probably just stay. But then when you start having the kids, you can't afford to pack your job in.
Circumstantial
but it was really
again.
hard. It was hard work. Obviously working full time with 3 little ones. It was after when you have the children, you have a year off now. But now it was only off 3 months. It was about 3 months after each one. So I'm back in working full time. Then John was working in children's home at the time when we had our 3rd one, and it was just ridiculous. It was like coming in from work, tea, kids, bed, and then they all had things like gymnastics and football and everything, and you weren't really there, were you, for night time?
No, I worked in residential care homes there for kids with behaviour problems.
It was really hard, and then I just said, I got to a point where I thought, I can't do this anymore. But
that prompted me,
you,
didn't it?
You left then, and you said, right, I'll go to uni. So we went to uni.
Second oldest person in the class.
30.
Wow.
36.
So we could have a
Got my degree when I was 39.
Wow, good for you.
So that's why.
So we could have more of a 9 to 5-ish sort of. So he was there at night then, and then you just get on with it.
Yeah.
And then the opportunity came up when we could take early retirement, and I just went and go for it.
Brilliant.
So
I think we used to look at both of our dads died in their 50s. So young, so we both thought, we really want to do something. Also, I'd see a lot of people either work with or came across through work who were, you know, in the 60s and so I think and still soldiering on. I just think I really don't want to be like that. It's not for me. I don't want to do that. Just keep chasing the money. And one of the things I think has opened our eyes since we come up, you don't really need an awful lot of money to live on.
Yeah.
Well,
And to be happy.
and to be happy.
Yeah.
You don't. I mean, 'cause when you look back, I always say, where did all your money go when you were on the kids, a car, supporting Everton? Well, that was it. So now we haven't got kids to look after. We haven't got a car. We haven't got the mortgage. We don't go following Everton all around the country. So you don't need an awful for your day-to-day living. You actually don't. And once you've got your mortgages paid off, that can actually live quite a chilled out lifestyle and a good lifestyle on relatively little money.
With guaranteed sunshine.
With guaranteed sunshine,
most
and
of
lovely
the,
laid back people, fantastic people. The Turkish people are just so friendly. All of our neighbours are Turkish. We live in a block of, well, there's about 18 apartments
Yeah.
I don't have, and apart from one other family, British family, who just come off for holidays, they're all Turkish. Lovely, lovely people. So
Always passing over glasses of raki. Fruit. Aren't they? All the
Yeah,
time.
it's-
Fruit bowls of fruit, raki. They're lovely. They're just so lovely. We're dead lucky, aren't we?
So the combination of everything, just, I don't know, we are happy, yeah, very happy.
Yeah.
No thoughts ever of going back to the UK. You can never say never because you've circumstances, but it won't be through choice.
Right,
it won't
that's
be a
interesting.
circumstance that makes you have to go, which we hope that never happens.
It's funny as well when we look at that in reverse, and it's about people coming out here, and there's a real mix whether it's choice or like I interviewed a friend of mine, and it was when she was diagnosed with terminal cancer, and she was just like, right, I'm going to live. And then she didn't know what she was doing. Came out here for 4 days. Within the first 24 hours, was like, well, I belong here, kind of thing. And I know it's very much the same for me. I'd been coming out here for years, and I just needed to basically switch life and and reset.
Yeah.
And I'd looked at Valencia and Budapest and Prague and all these, these iconic places. And when I realised it was more about me
Yeah.
and not the place, I was like, well, why don't I come to my family?
Yeah.
Apartment here? And it was just the best thing I've ever done. It was just, and I have so much more love in a different way and appreciation for this area than I had before. Yeah, I didn't get it. I used to come out here on holiday to visit my family who was staying out here, and I'd be like, I don't really get it. Why wouldn't you go to Greece? It's maybe a bit polished on a certain island, or you go to there that's got more vibrancy going on. Which Bangkok's more buzzy, but it hasn't. I said this on a forum the other day. There was a question on what are the negatives of living here, and people were saying queues at the ATMs and and all that. And I said, well, when you look at it, it's what it is what you make of it sometimes, wherever you are in life, whether that's within yourself or location. And I said it's not as buzzy as Bangkok, but Bangkok doesn't have any beaches. It's not as cool as Amsterdam, but you need a second mortgage just to visit for 4 days.
Yeah.
And when you look at it here, and like you said, you touched on a number of things, the lifestyle and the affordability and the sunshine, the weather. When you tally it up, I was speaking with somebody the other day, and they just said, I don't think you can beat it for quality of life on a number of fronts. When you look at all of those things, buying a property cost that you mentioned there, the affordability.
Yeah. Our son, the youngest son, who's the one who comes for 3 months at a time, he hit the nail on the head probably about 2 years ago.
Yeah,
didn't
I
he?
know what you're going to say. Yeah.
Because we've all been looking at Spain and we're still looking around. He said, why are you looking? He said, you're looking for something that you've already got. And I went,
Yeah.
what do you mean? He said, well, you live walking distance to 3 beaches. You've got a football bar next to you, if that's what you want on the football games. You've got numerous Turkish little locantas and you can go to. You can jump on a bus which runs every 5 minutes in the summer.
Which is like, what, 35, 40 pence?
35, 40 pence to go to like some Avishar, Yeshua, Kent, etc. You've got the bus. You've got a gym that you go to, which is absolutely breathtaking with the view, and you can walk to it. So you actually, what
What more?
say you move somewhere else, what would it give you that you haven't got here? And we both looked at each other, and
Dunno.
we went, yeah, he's right. Still not on. Maybe if they could have tapas here as well.
Well, we do have
look,
meze.
yeah,
we
meze,
do have
but
Turkish
it's
tapas.
on the scale, and he was right. I mean, look at this. Look at this.
Yeah, we're at
It's
Oracle
fantastic.
Cafe here by the temple, the Apollo temple. It is beautiful, is it? And sometimes it takes somebody from outside, when you're in it, whether that's in a job or a relationship or a lifestyle, a situation in life, when you're in it, you sometimes can't see it, can't see the wood for the trees. And it's not until somebody from outside looks in and go, but haven't you thought about this? And you go, well, yeah, and you take a moment, you think, actually, yeah, what we're doing, because the grass can always be greener.
Yeah.
And yes, you can go to somewhere that has maybe more art galleries and theatres and all of that, but it's going to cost you 800 quid on rent a month for a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment. You're like, well, actually, is that your total budget here plus change?
We can jump on a plane for 30 quid to Istanbul.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Twice a year, 3 times a year. As I say, Istanbul's fantastic.
And it is a hub once you're in Istanbul in terms of travel around the world. You know, it's a bit like a Schiphol Heathrow, isn't it? You are at a hub to travel anywhere, and flight prices, as you said. I mean, you can. I know you for like £19, £22, you can get to Istanbul or to another major,
and then wherever from there.
Exactly.
Yeah, because even when we go home at Christmas, back to Liverpool at Christmas, see our daughter, and we try to make a short holiday for going home. So we'll fly to Istanbul, and then we'll go like we've been to Budapest, 3 days, then on Bucharest. Dusseldorf, wasn't it? So we'll use Istanbul as a stepping stone, and so even travelling home in the winter, no direct flights, you make a holiday of going back, a short city break. So that gives you a little buzz after your chilled out lifestyle here. You go to whichever city and have a proper city feel, Christmas markets, everything else. So yeah, you hit the nail on the head.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. Well, we're not sure on why it's amazing to be here, whether it's visiting or living. Yeah. But what challenges have you faced along the years? Whether that was before you fully moved out, just having a place here, coming on holiday, and since making the decision to retire and live here.
I can't honestly say there's any negatives of living. I can't think of any.
You're not going to do the Brit thing and say it's too hot.
No. Certainly not. I can't see, for us and our lifestyle and what we want, there's no negatives.
Right.
Well, not for me anyway. Because I think we've got a bit of a structure now, and as I say, I could see how people fall into the trap of going to the favourite local Brit bar and drinking too much. I can see that. Yeah. We haven't fell into that trap. No real negatives to me. The Turkish language is hard, trying to learn it, but it's impossible. It's really, really difficult. But no negatives. I think the only negative that we've had was around the time when we bought our property, and there was a lot of scams going on. One of our neighbours is still going through it now, and it took us about 3 years to get our tap out, didn't it?
Which is ownership
of your apartment, which was a very scary time, because we thought we'd paid all our money in good faith, and we thought for about a year we were going to lose it.
Wow.
It was a really scary time. It eventually come right, but our neighbour, 15 years later, is still going through that process now, through the courts.
Wow.
Yeah,
he's still there. So they haven't, but he's still going. He's got his tap. He's still fighting it through the. And
so
it's gone to the High Court.
would be not to pay up front like we did.
Until you got your tap out.
And find a reputable agent as well.
But we did.
Well, they were.
Right. Okay.
It was the builder.
Yeah.
Which you often, you hear.
Because we thought we'd done all. I'm pretty. Well, we both are really. We will research and do what we think the right thing. The estate agent researched, very reputable. It was someone that our friends of friends had used. So we thought we did everything right. Maybe a little bit naive at the time. We paid up we paid 10% straight away, then we paid up 90% on the promise we'll be getting a tattoo next week. We got that 3 years later, so that was a bit of a scary time. But we got it, and it all ended up well. So that's, I would say, is our only real negative.
So if that didn't happen, there's nothing else.
There's nothing. I love the place. Really, just, because you can still people say, don't you get bored? But no.
No, absolutely not.
How'd you get bored when you work for the council? All that stuff. If you can go for a beer when you want, you can go to the beach when you want, you can go to the gym. You've got the internet, so you've got English telly, you can watch the how'd you get bored? And then when you think, I need something, as you just said, you can jump on a plane when in Istanbul.
Yeah, do you know what did surprise me about moving here and living here? Not only just kind of settling into the lifestyle here and accepting it for all of the positives, and it can be a bit quiet. Okay, that's true, but that can also be what people are looking for. But what really surprised me was I had a few trips overseas for work or for travel for extended periods, and when I came back, I really looked forward to coming back to look at it. It didn't feel like I really took it for what it was, and it feeling like home really surprised me, and I did love that. And that's in one way, as much as I want to go away to visit somewhere great,
Yeah.
it's lovely to, it's like with your partner, you look forward to them coming back from work or from a day out and find out what they've been doing. And I think that's very healthy in a relationship, just like living somewhere, that as much as you love living somewhere, and when you're in it, it's to then to come back and have missed it somewhat. And that did surprise me, that feeling. And it's been a while since we've been able to kind of go away
it's
and
obviously been a difficult year or so, hasn't it, for everyone.
and come back. What's if you were, tell us about some areas that you really enjoy going for a meal, or if that's for breakfast or a sunset. Where's your kind of favourite places for the both of you to go and have a bite to eat together?
I like Martino's.
Particularly restaurants or places.
Well, either or, either or.
Family Door.
Family Door, Martino's.
Family Door with the steaks.
Family,
Yeah.
With Hakan there.
Yeah. Good lad, Hakan.
His name does come up.
Yeah, he knows a Fenerbahce fan.
Yeah. Despite so, yeah.
I mean, we like going to the smaller, but we tend to not go to what you say they were popular brick bars all the time. We don't. So we like popping into little bars, like if you can throw for like Chill Out Bar, the Barcode, the little Vetro next to it. There's A Bar, which is a bit live in the front. It's great to see the front thrive, and that's one of the things I've seen develop so positively over the last 5 years or so. The amount of what I would call, I don't know, westernised is the wrong word, but really vibrant, trendy, young Turkish culture. That's really developed. I'm talking about places like Zaman, Joseph's, even to Winston, Cozy. We went down for a walk yesterday to down the Second Beach, Charlie's Bar End. Coming back to the new bar opening there, I don't know what it's called, but there's a whole new Turkish generation now who like to get out and about. It's a real party place, and that's probably, and our son loves it so much, but he doesn't see that because he's doing his own party stuff. But when he comes, it's quieter, but it is. So when you say it's quieter, I don't think it is. You can be as quiet or as lively
as you want. Yeah, that's a good thing.
You can do what you want. You can go for a quiet beer, a couple of beers, Turkish kebab on the way home. You can go to a nice meal in somewhere like the Family Door or Martino's. You can just go for a walk for a few beers and sit in the wall and have a kebab or have some mussels at the end of the night.
You're making me hungry now. I'm pleased you brought that up, because I think I'd say over the last 18 months, there's been an influx on restaurants and bars now going through refurbishments. And you have got, over winter a couple of years ago, I noticed that you mentioned Seman, and once that opened up on the front, in winter there was only that and another bar or restaurant that had people in it, and it was, I'd say, 95% Turkish. And before that you wouldn't really get a scene over winter that people would come out to, certainly in numbers. And it was really nice. You thought, actually this is only going to go one way now, and people are going to get into that. And I noticed on the boulevard as well that you maybe had 6, 7, 8 restaurants, bars that have really spent, when it was the lockdown, they've not just sat back, they've thought, right, we're going to up our game here. And once one or two started doing that,
it's competition.
So, and I think that can only be really good for the area. And like you said, you guys have now witnessed that. There's a different scene and culture coming in.
And the infrastructure gets better and better every year. The roads, where you look at the road that runs down from the Merry Manor right the way through past Big, that's fantastic. The dual carriageway that runs up by the fun fair, the planned building of the amphitheatre. Which that's luckily for us, we live right by there. So that's only going to be beneficial to the area. So I do feel it's a real area on the up. And I think sometimes you bump into people who can be quite negative, and I fail to see why sometimes, because you can see it's got literally better every single year since we come.
There's always some improvement, I think. Whether it's the roads, as John just said, or different restaurants and bars opening up all the time. I think it's great to see that.
I think what you touched on back in the day, 2003, 2005, you spoke about a lot of development. It's still rough around the edges, and I think it's fair to say that level of development was more in terms of a lot of apartments and villas and stuff. And then there was some new roads, whereas I think there's always going to be that. There's still a lot of space to fill with apartments and villas. But as we've just said, a lot of the development, it seems, over the past 18, 24 months has been in the infrastructure. I mean, the new roadway and paths that they've just put into place, I think, was 11, 12 million lira. So you're talking £1 million. Now, and it's all very decorative. They didn't need to do that. And I think the Turk in the area of old, 10, 15 years ago, would have done something for the sake of doing it. And they've seemed to spend more money than necessary and put more craftsmanship into laying these beautiful
Yeah,
decorative
it
roads.
looks fantastic.
And I think that's a real sign of intent of the changes in the area and what we're experiencing, witnessing. Before we wrap up, what's your favourite season and why? I'm curious. And are you both in agreement on that, or have you got different seasons that you appreciate in the year?
I just spring and the autumn. I love April, May, into June. I love September, October,
love September.
November. November, that's been the biggest surprise.
Right.
I know it starts turning from December, but November we've been here, it's been beautiful.
There's been people swimming
Swim,
in the sea in
everything,
November. It's like, not me, like.
I think my least favourite month is probably going to surprise a lot of people. It's probably August.
Right, yeah, you do
Probably
hear
my least
people saying that.
because it's so hot.
Right.
But I'm not complaining about it. It's great because you're in the pool, but it is hot.
Yeah.
So I do prefer November than, even though we say, well, how can you like November? It's pretty quiet. The weather's lovely. It's chilled. We can go for a little paddle in the sea. Whereas in August, we won't go down to Third Beach or up to Yasso because you can't even see sand. That many people.
Yeah.
And that's not a complaint. It's just that, and that's why we probably
Just do
withdraw.
different
We do
things, don't
different
we?
things.
Go out
You
later.
adapt your lifestyle according to the time of year,
Yes.
if you like.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you've got the option to do that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a beautiful
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Ellen, what about you? What's your favourite time of the year?
September.
Right, okay. So is that just because August with the intense heat is just coming up, but it's still baking hot? Are you a bit of a sun worshipper?
No, not really. No. I can't lay on the beach when it's roasting hot, but I can September, October, and we still can because the weather's gorgeous.
Yeah.
But when it's like hitting 40 degrees, no, I can't lay in the sun. So I don't go in the sun really. We wait till about 5, 6 o'clock, and then go down the beach then,
Nice.
and stay there till 9, 10 o'clock, and that's our night. I think I'll just go down for an hour, and then before you know, it's dark,
Yeah.
10 o'clock, and
That's one of the
few
things you
beers
notice
later.
with the Turkish culture as well. We see our neighbours who are mostly retired, Turks being from Istanbul and Ankara, and in the summer months they've got the families, grandparents, parents, kids, and they're actually going out at midnight.
at midnight, yeah.
Yeah, and
Go
they sit
down
on
the beach, they go down
and
the
then
beach
they
and
go
sit.
out on the beach and they're coming back at 3 in the morning. And people
Unbelievable.
think if you're out till 3 in the morning, it's partying. But they push their lifestyle according to the temperature, and then they won't get out. They'll stay in bed maybe till 12 o'clock. All our neighbours at the back, when everyone's in from the cities, they're chatting on the balcony till 4 in the morning.
Brilliant.
You know, and it's lovely.
Yeah.
It's absolutely lovely. And we tend to push our lifestyle back a bit. So whereas now, I'm sort of up a little bit. I'm up early because I've got that other focus, aren't I? But in those hot months, we'll go to bed later and get up later, just to avoid the heat, really.
Yeah.
You know.
Nice.
So,
Well, final question. What's your favourite Turkish dish and why? When I say dish, you're more than happy to say those beautiful wrapped
a chicken kebab.
kebab.
A chicken kebab with a couple of hot chilies. You can't beat that after a few beers. But favourite Turkish dish, I would go for menemen for breakfast. It's a nice menemen with a bit of spice in it and pepper.
Very lovely.
And mine's gozlama,
Yes.
my favourite.
Which is Turkish pancake, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Spinach, cheese, chili, all of
No, I
it.
don't like chilli. Potato. I like the potato ones the best.
Lovely.
The classic
Which
is
I might go and get one
going
now,
to a
actually.
nice. Yeah. There's a Turkish place we go, which is close to us, and we'll go sort of once a week, maybe twice a week, and it's a menemen and a gozlama, and it's half and half.
That's our treat after the market.
Yeah.
I haven't had breakfast. I shouldn't have asked that question. I'm like, I'm literally, mouth is watering now. I'm thinking, right, I'll have a kebab
Yeah.
mid-lunch.
Yeah.
Might have a Turkish breakfast after this. John and Ellen, thank you so much for joining us. It's been really
Pleasure.
insightful, and keep enjoying life
Yeah.
out here. It
yeah,
sounds
we'll
like
We'll
you've got
try
it.
it
good.
hard.
Much appreciated, guys.
Yeah,
Cheers.
great stuff.
Okay, cheers.
Yeah.
Yay! Awesome.